to have feminist sex? That's the title of a book released last year by illustrator and writer Flo Perry, who joins us now all the way from London. So this book, hi Flo, this book,
Hi.
which is subtitled A Fairly Graphic Guide, is just that. It's a beautifully illustrated guide that covers a range of subjects from body image to porn and pubes, sending nudes, and even the politics of desire. Well done, Flo. And I want to start with this not so basic question. How do you define feminist sex?
Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. I think I define feminist sex by saying, like, what is the sex that you want to have? If you lifted all of the shoulds off, what is the sex that you want to have, not the sex that you think you should be doing? Because we have all these pressures of what our sex life should look like from the patriarchy that we are surrounded by. And I think that once you can tap into what you really want and what you really desire, that is feminist sex for you.
Okay, good explanation. And right at the beginning of the book, you talk about how feminism is very in right now. But when it comes to our sex lives, they are unexamined and as full of sexist BS as they were decades ago. Those are your words. So what do you suggest we do to unlearn some of the BS?
It's all about prioritizing thinking about your sex life and prioritizing thinking, okay, what can I do to make myself happier in this area of my life? They're never going to be easy to unlearn this stuff. You have to challenge your beliefs, and that is always challenging. But you just have to sit with them one step at a time. Like a classic belief is that your genitals might look better if they didn't have any pubes. And you can challenge that belief and think, where does that come from? Why do I believe this? Do I actually believe this? Do I think that my genitals would look better without pubes? Or is this just something I've learned from porn? Does it make me happy removing my hair down there? And you can actively think through those things rather than just assuming what someone else would want or what you should do.
Okay, so further to that, you actually have a section of your book devoted to getting to know your genitals. And one thing you touch on is how in recent years, mostly thanks to the internet, as you said, vaginas have suddenly had their own set of beauty standards. So we know your thoughts on that. What do we do about getting past that?
I think that you just have to realize where all this stuff comes from, and the fact that 40 years ago, when we didn't have online porn, you didn't see a vagina until you were having sex with one. And then it was a positive experience, hopefully, because you wanted it to be there, so you're probably happy with whatever it looked like. But now we are bombarded by so many images of vaginas that you get an idea of what one is supposed to look like or what one should look like. And in porn, that has become narrower and narrower and narrower until it's just an unrealistic standard for most women to live up to.
So you have some action steps for us to get started on creating our own sex-positive universe. You're saying ask the questions, challenge the beliefs, anything else that you can do to start making things more positive in your own life?
Talk to people about this as well, especially talk to the person that you are having sex with. I think that's something that a lot of people don't do enough, which it seems obvious, but I think a lot of people just assume that the other person who they're in bed with wants something, and they've never actually talked about, are you happy with our sex life? What would you want it to look like? What parts of me do you find attractive? And really verbalize these things and talk about them, and I think everyone would have better sex.
Very good points. I like that one. And Flo, if there's one thing that you want people to really take with them from this book, what is it?
Learn to love your body. Learn to realize that this standard that we've been given of the perfect thin woman is terrible and does not make anyone happy. And just have the realization that even if you were thinner, you might not be happier. And those things don't necessarily go together. Maybe a cake will make you more happy than a flat stomach. And just as many people are going to want to have sex with you. So you might as well just eat the cake.
Thank you, Flo.
Yeah.
Such good information.
Thank you so much.
Go check out her book. It is great.